Do you think that Baker Mayfield maybe gets overlooked by some of the national media?
Well, we know that he does. There are a few guys that are very vocal about doing that, and one of them has always been Colin Cowherd. But another one lately has been Mike Tannenbaum from ESPN, their front office analyst, who has basically run both the Dolphins and the Jets, and he was here in Cleveland back in the early '90s in the Bill Belichick regime. So he's been around a long time. He knows what he's talking about, and he does have a lot of credibility as an ESPN analyst. And for whatever reason, he does not buy into Baker Mayfield as an elite quarterback of the ilk of a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen or a Tom Brady or one of those types of upper echelon quarterbacks. He's not seeing that. He feels that if you extend Baker Mayfield, that you are buying into mediocrity. So, it's an interesting take. I don't agree with it just because I think that a lot of people are still looking at 2019 and basing their judgment of Baker Mayfield off what happened in that horrible, disastrous Freddie Kitchens year. And it's just, people sort of need to leave that behind and maybe move on from that a little bit. I think that the real Baker started to emerge halfway through last season. Now, Tannenbaum contends that he's a system quarterback, but I think he does some things exceptionally well. The first one of those things is the fact that he can really nail it when he's out on those keepers and those bootlegs. He can throw it extremely accurately when he's on the move, and I think that sets him apart from a lot of the others.
Well, and the argument could be made that who isn't a system quarterback? Tom Brady doesn't run. You don't ask him to roll out and do things. His system is maintained in the pocket. Lamar Jackson, you ask him to roll out. You don't want him to beat you. Everybody has certain strengths, and there are very few quarterbacks, probably less than 5, that you would say can pretty much do anything you want them to do.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, what most coaches and most teams do is they adapt their offense to fit the skill set of the excellent quarterback they have at the time. It's what the Baltimore Ravens have done with Lamar Jackson. It's what the Kansas City Chiefs have done with Patrick Mahomes, and so on and so forth. Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. You work with what you have. But I think the point that Mike Tannenbaum is trying to make is there are certain systems, and some people say that this one is it. It's the one that Kyle Shanahan runs. It's the one that Matt LaFleur runs. And basically, I think the point is that you can take any good or above average quarterback, plug him into this particular system, which is very quarterback friendly, and a lot of these guys are going to excel. Some think that's the reason you could put a Case Keenum into the Vikings offense that year when Kevin Stefanski was his quarterbacks coach, and he goes 11-3 and takes them to the NFC Championship game. So I think that's the point that he's trying to make, that he is a quarterback well suited to this particular system, which makes the most out of quarterbacks that aren't necessarily in that elite category. So, this is great. He's doing Baker Mayfield a favor. He's giving Baker an opportunity to prove him wrong, which Baker actually functions best when he feels like people are doubting him. So I am anxious to see how he responds to some of this.
Yeah, and you know what? That's good coaching. If you're playing to a quarterback's strength, quarterback's most important position probably in all of sports, and if your coach plays to his strengths, finally, we have a coach doing what is smart for the football team.
Absolutely. And these guys do a nice job of it. And I don't think they've even scratched the surface yet. Because not only do you have Kevin Stefanski, who is an excellent coach in his own right and has worked with many quarterbacks over the years, but you have Alex Van Pelt, who's a really, really good offensive coordinator, also working with Baker and as his quarterbacks coach. They've overhauled his footwork. They've tweaked his mechanics. They've got him, once again, they're doing a lot of play action. They're doing a lot of keepers. They're doing a lot of things that he does well. I think this year they will add in letting him have a little bit more autonomy at the line to call his own plays or to change things up with tempo. I think he's earned the right with what he showed last year that he can handle a little bit more on his plate in terms of audibleizing and things like that.
Yeah, and I would agree, and it'll be fun to see. So let's hope if Baker Mayfield has the type of season that I think both you and I think he has, it's going to be a lot of fun in the fall.